we did 133K in a week. We're doing $24,000 days back to back. I literally have the video of like my screen recording of all the notifications. I was like, now, just people flying.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Before the Money. We are sitting here with Daecian Sparks Young, aka dropshipping sex god.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it in, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's already in there. It's fucking put in concrete. Yeah, look. Now, as you guys know, this is the podcast where we get down in the depths, understand all the nitty gritty shit that high performers have done and are going to do to, you know, fucking crush it in this game, whatever field they are putting their energy towards. So I'm really excited for this episode. Already the energy is feeling great, so I know it's going to be mad. Welcome aboard, Daecian.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Hell yeah.
So why don't you kind of start by giving a brief overview of how you would like our audience to kind of perceive you, your interests, stuff like that. Then we'll get the ball rolling into some questions.
Yeah, so I guess like right now, I kind of just do e-commerce. I'm building brands, businesses, really just capitalizing on Facebook ads at the moment. That's like my bread and butter. I love building businesses from 0 to like 6 figures, 7 figures. It's literally, I have a massive passion for it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with making money. That's something that I always say is that there is nothing wrong with wanting to make money, chasing money. That's just my personal opinion. Because at the same time, money brings freedom, and with freedom, you can do whatever you want. And I think that's just a misconception they teach us at school. That just got deep.
No, fuck it. We're diving
that was
job
done. That's a wrap.
Thank you very much for coming, guys. It's been an awesome time.
Nah, but for real, like, yeah, so that's basically what I do. I do drop shipping. That's kind of the business model that I use to build these brands. And then I also own a startup company, which I don't really talk about too much just because it's like my long-term thing. And I own it with a few other people as well. So I like to keep that a bit private. But my personal brand is pretty much based around e-commerce businesses. Yeah.
Awesome. And I think you left out a very crucial piece of information there, because you're also an educator. You have a course, you know, and that is a very fulfilling thing. So I don't want you to brush over that, because just the very fact that you're passing on, you know, and I'm sure we're going to touch on it in this episode, you're passing on your success that took you, you know, a long time to achieve initially. So, you know, let's not skip over that, because I feel like that's going to be a big part of this conversation. Yeah,
for sure. Like, there's a lot of controversy around having a course and a program, but at the end of the day, like I'm an entrepreneur, and if I can make money by helping people succeed, like that's just a no-brainer for me. So
100%.
Yeah, I do have a program as well. So yeah.
Awesome. And what's the name of that program?
The program is called Wi-Fi Project, but I'm really kind of trying to move on to revamping the whole company around like more of a mainstream name, just for like anyone that can join, because I really think that the Wi-Fi Project is surrounded by my personal brand, which I don't want, because there might be one day where I want to sell that company with all of the database that I have and like the amount of revenue that it's brought in and everything like that. Selling it with my personal name attached to it just doesn't work. So I'm kind of like revamping my business into the Ecom Academy. I actually bought the domain for that today. It was, I don't know how.
The Ecom Academy.
Yeah, the Ecom.
And that was available.
Just ecomacademy.com.
That's clean as fuck.
Yeah. So how I actually had that, I didn't realize I had it in my add to cart. Yeah. And I think when people have it in their add to cart, no one else can buy it. I don't know if that's true. I should know because I do ecom, but like I was typing in all the domain names because I just wanted something really mainstream. And I mean, Ecom Academy, you know exactly what that's going to be, opposed to Wi-Fi Project. It doesn't really explain what your service is. So yeah, I like ecom has e-commerce has a hyphen in it, like e-com, and I just shortened it, like, so it's e-com academy.com, and it was available. I got it really cheap. Yeah, it was like $9.
Holy shit!
And then like without the hyphen was $5,000. So I was like, okay, this is free
a
online
premium domain. Yeah, of course. So before we jump too far ahead, what is drop shipping? You know, for everyone, and try explain it as basic as you think, you know, someone who's never heard the term should hear it.
Yeah. So basically, drop shipping is just a business model off of e-commerce. So e-commerce is just the buying and selling of physical products online. And drop shipping is a business model where it's like very much risk-free, where you don't hold inventory. There's a supplier, and then basically you just whip up a Shopify store. So you have a website, and then you drive traffic to that website. As soon as someone purchases from your website, you notify like automatically. It's all automated. It automatically notifies the supplier, and the supplier will ship it straight out to the customer's doorstep. So that's a very brief understanding of the business model of drop shipping. But there's also like Facebook ads involved to drive the traffic to the customer. Then you have like order fulfillment apps inside of your store to automate the fulfillment side of everything, so you don't have to like touch anything. And then you can branch off into like creating your branded products with that as well from your private suppliers and everything like that. But basically it's just a risk-free business model where your only outgoing costs are the host of the platform, which is Shopify. I mean, that's like $20 a month.
And the first 2 weeks is free anyway.
And the first 2 weeks is free. So if you don't make any sales in those 2 weeks, cut that thing off and you haven't spent anything. And then the other outgoing cost is your marketing expenses, which is just Facebook ads. And I mean, you can test a product with $300 and know if it's going to work or not. So, I mean, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, it wasn't really a big thing. Like, it's just kind of like a no-brainer. I mean, if I don't have to order tens of thousands of dollars worth of inventory, I mean, let's say that I did, and I ordered $10,000 worth of inventory of a product, and then that product arrived, and I didn't know how to sell it, or it didn't sell. Even with all of my marketing experience, it doesn't sell. It's like, okay, now what do I do with that product? I have $10,000 worth of stock that I can't sell, and it's majority of the time I'm going to be emotionally attached to that product as well, because it's like, this is my baby. I worked hard for this. I just spent 10K on it. I can't have it not sell. So then what do you do?
You just drop more energy into a sinking hole.
Exactly. So then you'll probably most likely go and spend more money on Facebook ads or influencers or something like that, trying to make it work. And next thing you know, you're 20K down.
And it takes up a lot of space as well. Like I did a similar kind of thing with the first time that I manufactured my own clothing for Anarchy. I did an order much bigger than I should have, and without the adequate knowledge of marketing and all that kind of stuff. So for a very long time I was sitting on stock, and pretty much went through everything that you were just describing then. So learned that lesson the hard way. But the dropship model is something that's been around for a long time, and I've heard so many people kind of say, even from many years ago, that dropshipping's dead. But it's not dead. It just evolves. The dropship model has evolved so many times. Since I first saw it. And you're one of kind of the only people that I know of that are really going hard at it and doing well, because I don't know many people, especially here in Australia. I feel definitely over in the States, they're a lot faster to catch on to these kind of things.
Yep, 100%.
But it's great. Like, and you briefly told me your kind of come up story, which we're going to get into in a second, and it's fucking really, really interesting because you can go from 0 to 100 really, really quickly. Once you finally find the right tick, and it launches properly. So why don't we dive into kind of your story, why you decided to start e-com, and talk us through that initial journey. Let's start off with what you were doing beforehand.
So I'll backtrack all the way to school. I think like high school. Because I feel like a lot of people can relate to what I was doing in high school and where my headspace was at and everything like that. Because, I mean, if you just see me now, you don't know, it sounds very cringe, but like you don't know what I've been through. At the end of the day, like you don't know what I was like in school. Like majority of the people think, oh, he's just succeeded. He was already smart at business. And it's like, fuck no. No way. I worked so hard to get here. So basically, when I was in high school, I didn't really pay attention to school at all. Never really went to school as well. Like I just knew it wasn't for me, but I just liked hanging out with friends. It was like it was to socialize for me. I didn't work, I actually didn't even finish school. So I dropped out in year 12, because it just wasn't doing anything for me. And then
did you know what you wanted to be?
That was a good question, because I was like, where am I going with this? But I definitely didn't know what I was going to be. I always thought I was going to be a personal trainer, which we were talking about before. But I was really obsessed with like YouTube. This is something we always said, just said before as well. I was obsessed with like FaZe Clan, Jake Paul and all of that.
Yeah.
And like they're just living this crazy lifestyle in LA, and I was seeing this at like a couple of years younger than them, and I was like, why can't I do that? Like I used to literally just sit in my bed and watch hours of like FaZe Clan and everything like that, because I was just like, this is the life that I want to live. But I didn't know how I'd get there. Like I didn't know. I just knew, I deep down I knew I needed to make money, and I wanted to like do something other than just laboring away and stuff like that. But so straight out of school, I kind of left to get a laboring job. Like there was 3 terms left in year 12 left. And then out of that, I went to a laboring job. So my brother was working at we were building radio towers, and he already had the job. Asked me if I wanted the job. I was like, yeah. So then I literally went to work the next day, dropped out of school. And then like my 3rd day, I was like, fuck. Like,
what have I done?
Yeah. Like, am I supposed to do this for like fucking 50 years?
Yeah.
Like what? It was kind of like a weird awakening. I was like, okay, so what do I do now? Like, surely, like, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. I fucking hated it. The 3rd day, I was like, no, I'm not doing this. And I texted my brother. I was like, I'm not coming into work today. And then he was like, no, like, he was like, okay, we'll just let the boss know. And then the boss was a fuckhead as well. And then I ended up working there for over a year. So that's what ended up happening. I was like, okay, well, I need money. I'm not going to go back to school. I just need to grind it out, I guess. That's what everyone says. You just work hard.
So in order for you to kind of make that decision, was there a bigger goal that kind of made you able to stick it out for a year? Or was there a lack of an other goal that made you stick it out for a year?
Well, I don't know. It wasn't like, I wasn't working there for a goal at all. I was just working day to day. I always thought I was going to be a YouTuber. Like that's just what I always thought I was going to be. I always thought I was going to be famous on YouTube.
Did you do much YouTubing and video stuff?
Yeah, I actually did. I played around a lot with like YouTube, like videos and stuff like that, but it was nothing enough to post. And like I always wanted a lot of my friends in there, but my friends weren't cool with like getting in it and stuff, and they were starting to like go off in their own direction. And I was like, well, fuck, like how am I going to meet Jake Paul, man? Like, but yeah, so there wasn't really a vision. It was just like, I'm just working day to day, paycheck to paycheck. And I also knew I wanted to travel a lot. So then I started to like go, okay, well, maybe I want to be a traveler. Like I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I just knew that I had to have money.
It was big.
Yeah. I knew, like, I was like, okay, well, I started watching like all these travel guys. What is it? I forget her name, but like all these travel, I thought I was going to be like an Instagrammer after that. So then after that, left that job, and then got another laboring job, carpentry, did that for about 6 months. And I was like, yeah, no, fuck this. I don't like this either. And then I started working on roadsides. And this was like probably the hardest job that I had, was working on the side of roads, doing like steel fixing. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I've done some steel fixing.
Yeah. So you basically just like, it's in a way like concreting. You like doing, you're just carrying like loads of
very
like
heavy bars,
fucking the heaviest bars ever. So I was driving to work from I would leave to work at 4 a.m. I would drive 2 hours to Brisbane, and then I would work 10 to 12 hours a day, just like physical hard labor, and then drive 2 hours back home. So I left at 4, get home at like 6, 7 at night. And I was doing that for a long time.
Have dinner and pass out.
Literally. And I just was always like, nah, fuck, like I can't do this for the rest of my life. I used to go to work like almost crying. Like I hated it that much, and I knew that I'd never wanted to do it. But it was bringing me in money at the time. I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And then I kind of like started talking to someone. So I started talking to a girl, and then after that, we kind of like, she ended up just like barring it, and was like, oh no, I don't really want anything. And that just like hurt me so much. Like I was down bad, boys. Like honestly, so
cut me deep.
Yeah, I was just like, nah, fuck this. And then I found like the High Smile boys. And I was like, oh my God, like these guys literally like came from
They're going to come on the potty soon, I'm sure.
Oh, I thought you were actually talk with them. Yeah,
I'm putting it out there.
100%. But yeah, then I found like the High Smile boys, and I just followed them on Instagram, and I just like started to become obsessed with them. And at the same time, I was starting to find out about like manifestation and the law of attraction and everything like that. So then that's when I got like the vision. I was like, okay, I want to make money. That's what I want to do. I just want to be rich as fuck. I mean, I was 18. Started to like look into different avenues of like business, still working the job at this time as well. So I'm working like like including the driving, like 15 hours a day or 14 hours a day. And then so I started doing like research like on YouTube and everything, and I was typing up like how to start your own business and stuff. And I was coming across all of these guys that were literally like my age, like making like 10K months and stuff like that. And I was like, what the hell? And I kind of like, it was more of an ego thing. I was like, I don't want to watch their stuff. Like, what are they going to know? Like, they're the same age as me. I don't need to watch them. I'm going to learn from the Half Mile boys. So I kind of didn't know what dropshipping was. Anyway, long story short, I ended up like trying to start this own company with like IPL laser machines. It's just like a product that's like really trending. And I was like, well, fuck, I need thousands of dollars worth of inventory.
Somewhere to put it.
Somewhere to put it, somewhere to stock it, somewhere to ship it out. Like all of these costs add up really quickly. And then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I will listen to these guys, how they're making 10K a month. And then so they were doing the exact same thing with me, but they weren't seeing or touching their product. And I was like, wait, what? Like that was just, my whole world just shifted. I was like, what the fuck? You don't have to see it. You don't have to touch it. There's like, what, how? Just tell me how. And then I just started watching so many videos, and I was watching like kids making, I literally watched some guy make $20,000 in a day when he was 16 in year 10 at school, and I ended up working with him down the future, which is like crazy. So he was like one of the first guys that I watched. And then that's when I became really obsessed with the business model. And then, mixed that with a lot of manifestation and stuff like that, which I think we can get into more. A little bit
we'll go deep.
But that's kind of like where it all started for me. That was the kind of where the vision started.
So you just kind of uncovered drop shipping. You're starting to wrap your head around the business model. You're super excited at this point. You're very passionate about not doing the work that you're currently doing. So you're full of ambition and drive. So that sounds really, really interesting. And you touched on manifestation. So I heard a story through someone that, you know, you went really, really hard when it came down to manifestation, and you kind of just went all in for how long? A year or something? Or not even quite a year.
It was about a year,
or
maybe a bit under. It was like probably like 9 months. That's like when I started to go like full ham on law of attraction, because it just made so much sense to me. I started to realize that once I found out about it, my parents are into it a lot. So like I dedicated like a lot of my success to them for showing me the ins and outs of the law of attraction.
So what was your thought process before that? You know, how did you view the world?
I was like, my parents used to listen to this person called Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. But they used to listen to her every morning, and I used to just like, I was a pretty angry teenager, so I used to just walk out and just be like, fucking turn this stuff off. Like, I hate her voice. I hate this. I wasn't an open person. I was just like, no, this is fucking so bad. And then so I kind of became more like open and more, I guess, like along the lines of like a spiritual person. But keep in mind, I was also like 18, so it wasn't like I was like super spiritual or anything. But I started to realize that a lot of things that happened in the past, I used to think about deeply, like a lot. I remember the first car that I bought was a Mazda 3. And when I was working that very first laboring job, I used to just listen to music like Lil Uzi and pretend like in my head, just subconsciously, not even realize what I'm doing, but I'd be like, I'm in a Mazda 3 and it has leather seating, leather interior, and it's pimped out black. And that, I know it sounds like it's like super cringe, but like I ended up getting that car, like the exact car that I was picturing in my head. And that was one of the big shifts that I realized, like, holy shit, like this is that actually happened. And then I started connecting more dots, and I'm like, wait, I thought of that and that happened. And then like, I was like, let me try some stuff, tried like manifesting people into my life. And then that worked. And I was like, this can't be real. And that's kind of where the shift happened. I was not open to it at all.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, the people believe manifestation is like this woo-woo spiritual thing, but funny enough, there is actually a part of your brain, it's called the reticular activating system, and its sole purpose is to seek out more of the information that you're feeding it. So if you're currently flooding your thoughts with a particular car that you're about to buy, notice when you're driving, you see that car everywhere. That's because your brain is now actively seeking more of the information you've been feeding it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, in a scientific form, is manifestation.
100%.
It's not woo-woo. It's not spiritual.
It definitely works too. Like, I wrote a song, and the start of the song was "Pull Up in My 86" on the fast track.
Yeah.
Now I've got a BRZ. I had to change that song to I'm bougie, fuck the 86. Because I fucking made it happen.
For
you
real.
know?
Yeah.
And that was from that manifesting. That song that I'd written was all about owning an 86 that I really wanted. And the whole video clip was going to be me driving my shitty beat up Honda, but envisioning being in the 86 fucking carving around Tambourine Mountain now.
It's a
I'm
big
bougie,
cheat
fuck
code,
the
man.
86 because we got the BRZ now.
Yeah, for real. Like I used to do that all the time. When I was once I started to understand what it was.
Yeah.
And it's fucking crazy, but like I used to Tambourine Mountains. I was like, I'm always gonna go up Tambourine Mountains and just drive it and just hoon up it. Like honestly,
I used to work up there, and that's what pretty much I like. My shitty Honda was dying. I was like, I need to make a decision. Fucking went and got the 86, and then my to and from work has never been more fun in my life. Just fucking
Made it bearable.
caning it up there, bro. It's
For sure.
good fun.
100%.
I mean, it's real stuff. Like 100%. Like I was very, very close to buying an AMG. As soon as I started going like, yeah, I want to buy this AMG, I was seeing it everywhere. And it was also something that was on my vision board, which is crazy as well.
Yeah. They're underrated as well. I remember having a vision board from when I was very, very young, because my mum's been, you know, she's spiritual to the core, you know, always has been. So it's just kind of been some of the thing. You have your wish board, your vision board, your gratitude boards, all that kind of shit. And honestly, like if it does nothing else bar make you happier every day, then it's fucking doing its job.
It shows you where you're going. You know?
But
You wake up with like, oh yeah,
I just
that's why I'm doing this.
100%. Like I can't see why you wouldn't do that.
No.
I mean, it's literally scientifically proven that if you write your goals down, it's 42% more likely to come true. 42. Like
That's a big
I'm
odd.
gonna write everywhere, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did was wrote all over my shower. I literally have a video of it when I was 18. Still didn't have success. I knew it was gonna work.
Yeah.
I wrote all over my shower and all over my mirror to the point where you couldn't see out of it. Just saying, you are like, my business is going to succeed in 2019. I am going to be the best at what I do. Dropshipping is going to work for me. I attract like everything, man. And I was signing it. I was dating it. Like I always sign everything off because so the universe knows it's me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to put a timeline as well. I heard I was listening to a podcast last week, and I can't remember the name of the guest, but he was basically saying, you know, you've got to put a timeline, because it's great to have all these big goals, but if you're not giving yourself a deadline, then it's always going to be something that you're striving for, never something that comes into fruition. You know, so like Jim Carrey wrote himself a check for $1 million. And
Yes, sir. Yes,
and absolutely, he ended up crushing it. Well, like years ahead of his deadline.
Yeah, 2 years after he made it, he got a call. I literally remember him saying it word for word because I used to watch this video probably once a night. But he wrote himself a check for $1 million, and 3 years later, he on the day that he dated it, literally it was New Year's Eve or Thanksgiving, Christmas or something like that. And he got a call saying he was going to make $10 million from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interview on Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, model what's already working. That's one of the things that I used to do all the time was watching. I used to have a playlist where I would see every single celebrity talk about manifestation and the law of attraction, and then I would model what they do. And I wrote myself a check for $1 million. But we'll get into that when we start talking about numbers.
Awesome.
But
well, we're about to reset the cameras.
Cool. Yeah.
So I might as well get that. I feel like that was
urinate
a nice
so
section.
bad.
that was a good start. I mean, guys, if you need to go, like, you just pause it. Like, I'm easy.
No, you're dropping bombs, bro. We can't pull that shit up.
I had to talk a little bit there. Like I'm literally
You're just in awe.
That's good though. What up, everybody? We are back from our little interlude. Our interlude brought to us by our sponsors, MeUndies. Need something to hold your balls?
Dacian's like, what
We
the
got you
fuck's
covered.
going on?
So like, I'm gonna jump straight back in with a question for Ask Casuals, right? So say we want to start.
Casuals.
Ask Casuals is
Oh, okay.
the drop shipping casuals.
Yeah.
If we would want to get into something like this, are you researching for like, are you just selling what you want? Or are you looking at what people are buying and giving the people what they want?
Yes, that's actually a really good question. I get this question a lot as well. And a lot of people ask me, like, am I passionate about what I sell? Do I love what I sell? And the immediate answer to that is no. I literally couldn't give a fuck about what I'm selling, just as long as it's making me money. Like, yes, so that's
So you're just going looking for what people are buying.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. I mean, if it's trending, I know that I can beat that competitor.
Yeah.
So then that's what I'll do.
What kind of products are you selling?
Everything and anything. I mean, you basically have the option to sell millions of products worldwide. Like that is just like mind blowing, and people don't really realize that. I mean, they'll try 2 products, it doesn't work, and it's like, oh fuck, no, this shit doesn't work. Like dropshipping's saturated, dropshipping's dead. And it's like, man, you tried 2 products, you literally have a million other products to choose from.
So like, what are you selling? Like some examples.
I'll give a one, just because like some of them are still running.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah,
if I was
okay,
to say
fair
it, then
enough.
I'd have more competition. But like, I mean, I've sold a back relief product, and another one I sold is masks. So they're like 2 different things. So I mean, I always try to sell emotion. So if someone's like got really severe back pain, and I literally put the solution to that problem right in front of them, they're going to purchase out of emotion. I mean, if it's an impulse buy, it can't really last that long. But if you're selling the solution to the frustration of that emotion, then you can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to say I used to work at a certain retail store on the coast that a lot of people are very familiar with, and a lot of their stuff is built off that. They really tapped into the serotonin of purchasing a new outfit, and what they were training us is sell that emotion, sell that how you will feel once you've done it.
Exactly. A lot of people just try to rip up a store, and it doesn't work. I mean, the product doesn't sell itself. It's your marketing that sells the product.
Yeah, and it might look good from, first glance. You've got all the pieces, you've got your proper landing page and all that kind of stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's emotionally moving. There's a formula to this shit. So I want to dive into your stint when you first decided you're going to go hell for leather on, building out your dream. Talk us through that process, because I know it's a great story.
Yeah, so once I found out what I wanted to do, I kind of had, like we were saying, I had a massive understanding of the law of attraction. Deleted all my social media, deleted my Facebook, and then created a new one.
And how old were you at this stage?
18.
Just for context. 18.
Yeah,
awesome.
I was 18.
Yeah.
So I deleted all of it, and then I only followed law of attraction pages, and also pages that people were successful on already doing what I was doing. Because so every time I open up social media, I immediately see something positive. And I didn't care what my friends were doing on the weekend. I didn't care about what they were eating. I didn't care about this stuff. I just knew where I needed to be, and that's all I wanted to like surround myself with, and that's where it started. So after that, I had a very clear vision, and I just started grinding. I started working. I was still working that job at the time, so the roadside job, and then I ended up getting let off for that. So I had a really long time of like being able to pursue what I wanted to do. So then I started working every single day on creating, like trying to make this whole system work. I was are we going to get straight into it?
No, go straight into it, man. And
okay.
Were you thinking of drop shipping at that time, or were you going through the phase of figuring out what you want to put your energy to?
No, so once I found out like these kids were making like a lot of money, I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. And I wasn't going in with the mentality of, I'll give this a few goes, and if it doesn't work, then I'm going to give up. I mean, if you go into anything with that mentality, it's never going to work. And like no professional football player has become a professional from like a couple of training sessions. This shit takes time, and it's hard, and you will want to give up, but I mean, you just got to keep pushing. It's consistency that's going to get you to where you need to be. And so
big dreams are what keeps the fire burning. You got to have big fucking dreams. That's the secret. Make your dreams so out of proportion that everyone fucking laughs at you, because when you get up in the morning and, that vision pops into your head, you have no other choice but to be a fucking mental badass and just go hard on whatever the fuck you're working on. That's the simplest way to put it, really. And that ties back into manifestation. Like, it's not a science. It's just pure emotion, and you have to fucking dive in head first. That's my 2 cents.
100%. You're not going to become a pro from watching on the sideline. No. I completely agree. So I started to learn a lot. My philosophy on life is that you can learn anything on YouTube if it's to do with business.
100%.
So I started to learn a lot. I mean, I was pretty much going to YouTube University. And then I started to kind of the first thing that I started with was doing Instagram meme page shout outs. So what I would do is I went to like meme pages or big following Instagram pages that have had over like 1 million to like 500K to 1 million followers. I'd DM and be like, hey, can I do a promotion on your page? And then it would be like maybe $50 to $100, and that was still so much money for me at the time because I didn't have $50 to $100. And then I ended up doing a few, and none of them worked. Like literally none. And I did that for about 4 months, just trying to make them work. I mean, I think the most sales that I made was maybe one.
So when you say they didn't work, were you driving traffic and it wasn't converting, or were you just, it wasn't working from like the get-go?
Yeah, I was driving traffic and it wasn't converting because I didn't have the tools that you'd have with Facebook ads at the time. I was too scared to learn Facebook ads. It looked way too difficult to me. And I mean, if I could just give it to 1 million people, then put it right in front of them, then I thought it was going to work, but it didn't. And there was also, again, no emotional selling. It was just, I was putting the product on there. Hey, here go, swipe up to buy now. No one's going to buy that unless it's a massive influencer because they trust that influencer. And I mean, it's still got to relate with the influencer, but I was just putting random products. Like the first one I saw was an iPhone case, and I made one sale, and that was it. And then but it was also proof that this model does work. So once I made that first sale, I was like fucking going crazy. I remember it. It was from India. The guy bought it from India, and
how good is that? So for everyone who's not familiar with the Shopify platform, when you get an order, it makes like a cha-ching sound, and for anyone who hasn't experienced that, bro, the adrenaline rush you get when you hear that for the first time, or even every time you hear it, man, they have cracked the code on that shit, man.
Yeah.
The dopamine spike.
Yeah, 100%. But at the time, I wasn't even using Shopify. So I was using ClickFunnels at the time. I was too scared to really go into the Shopify platform, but I was using ClickFunnels, and then I remember just sitting there refreshing it because you don't get notifications or anything. And then it came through. I was like, oh my God, it's crazy. And I mean, I lost like $30 doing it, but I was like, this shit works.
You made a sale nonetheless.
100%.
Yeah.
And so that was like the first thing. I was like, okay, this works, so I can do this. And then I started to really like put my head down. I mean, I didn't go out at all. Like I wasn't leaving my house. I was just listening. Like I was bumping Lil Uzi every single day because he talks a lot about money. Yeah. And I was like, this guy's just so high. I would sit in my room listening to Lil Uzi 24/7, just looking for the next product to sell, sending it, like getting people to post it on the Instagram and stuff. And it just never worked for me. I was like, why hasn't this worked? But going back quickly to like the manifestation thing, I wrote my self a check for $1 million and dated it for August. So I was coming up to August, and I mean, like I had the biggest vision board for August, and then just before August, on July, I ordered it was like $2,500 worth of inventory of blue light blocking glasses.
So you took inventory?
Yeah. So knew what the bit like drop shipping was and everything, but I don't know what happened. I just really wanted it to work, and I was like, maybe you can't drop ship and it works. Like maybe you actually have to create a brand and like give it to influencers and everything like that. Yeah. And at this time, I was still kind of scared to learn Facebook ads, but I was slowly learning. And then I ordered it, and then sold one pair. I sold one pair. I had 800 more units to sell, and I was like, shit, that was like the last bit of my money. And a funny story, I still have that inventory to this day in the back of my car. Literally, all of these blue light blocking glasses. I mean,
we should do a charity drive or something.
100%.
Plug them. Yeah. Plug them right here, right now.
But they were shit quality too. I feel bad giving those things out. I didn't even like realize how like bad quality they were. Anyway, so then I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? And then I had literally about like, I think it was like $500 left or something like that. And also I didn't have a job at the time because I hadn't had a job for about 8 months. And then my parents were kind of not like telling me like, oh, you need to get a job, but kind of just being like, okay, what are you doing? And I was like, fuck. And then I just never stopped. I always was like, nah, this works. This will work. This will work. And at the same time, it was coming up to August, and then I was like, fuck it, drop this business model, drop this idea with the blue light blocking glasses, go to the next one. I just have to keep this momentum going. And then I found a new product, and there was a massive leading competitor selling this product as well, and no one else. And I was like, man, maybe I can try this product. And then I launched it on July 29th. And then the next day I was like, oh my God, like this is going to work. I just knew it was going to work too. Woke up the next day.
Can you say what the product was?
I can't, because I still sell it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I woke up the next day and made $0 as well. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I had checked my Instagram page, and it had a lot of engagement on the post. Like a lot of people were tagging each other. And the kind of the niche that I was in, to give you a better perspective, was the relationship niche. Yeah. So I was selling a product that like the girlfriend or the boyfriend would want to buy for each other out of that love emotion.
Yeah.
Right. So I had this, my ad creative was like the product, and it was just like so it was the product, but my ad copy was like, oh my God, my boyfriend just bought me this. I love him so much. So immediately when a guy sees that, subconsciously they think, okay, this is what my girlfriend's going to feel like when they buy this product, right? So it had so much engagement, and all of these people started to like tag their boyfriends in it, like, get me this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I've never had this. Like, even though I'm not making sales, I've just got so many people interested. And I was using Facebook ads at the time. I wasn't using any Instagram or anything like that. So I was just running very shit Facebook ads.
Was this your first attempt at Facebook ads?
No, it was like the second, because I tried it with the blue light blocking glasses. Okay, and then and then I went to the bed the next day, and I was like, nah, this has to work, man. Like, it's got to work. I woke up the next day, and I'd made like $300 in revenue, and I had spent around, I think it was like $15 or $20 on ads.
Wow.
So the ROI on that was ridiculous. So I had, I don't know how much, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I probably made like $180.
Yeah.
And like $180, like I would look at $100 and think that was like, I could do so much with that. But I just made this in my sleep, and I didn't have to work 12 hours a day. I didn't have to physically touch anything, like hard labor. And I just woke up, and man, that hit me so hard.
Yeah.
I remember going to the gym, and I was just in the gym listening to like Lil Uzi, and I just started like really getting emotional. I was like, I'm not going to have to go to another job again. Yeah. I'm not going to have to go to another job. I'm going to be able to do whatever the fuck I want for the rest of my life. And this is it. This is where it starts. And it was just all hitting me like,
fuck yeah.
Through my head. I was like, so many people said that I couldn't do it. So many people. And like my closest the surroundings were just not believing in me, and like it just hit me so hard. And I was like, nah, I got to stop this session. I got to go home. And I mean, I went home, I was so emotional, and then I just saw my mom, and I just gave her the biggest hug and started like tearing up. And it was just, I had worked so long with no results and worked so hard for it. And I mean, that was one of the best days of my life, was the moment where I realized that I've done what I've put my mind to something, and it actually worked, and I'm never going to have to go back to what I didn't want to do before.
Wow.
And that was like the first day where it really just took off, and I was like, oh my God. And then that week I'd made 2.7K in revenue, and I probably profited like, I don't know, like 1,500. That was more than I had ever made. And I mean, and I was 18 still.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. I think I was 19 at the time. And then, that first month I did 33,000. The month after that I did 60,000. The month after that was like 87,000. The month after that was 160,000. And then the month after that was like 80,000, because it came up to Christmas.
Yeah.
And that was just like the biggest.
That escalated really fucking quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote that check.
Yeah.
I wrote that check. I dated it, even though I didn't hit my $1 million target. I mean, I still got what I was trying to go for. Close. And I mean, like, I don't get like what happened if I made that 100,000? I might have hit fucking like 30K.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I shot big. I didn't care. I was like, I'm going to make $1 million in 12 months. I don't give a fuck how long it takes or anything like that. But I mean, that was crazy. Fuck. So that product ended up doing like, it was at 390,000. It was like 390,000 in 6 months, and I profited like 140,000 off that.
That's amazing.
That was my first product that actually worked. I tried like 15 products before that.
Holy shit.
You were saying before that you spent some stupid money.
I mean,
what kind of things
you give a kid,
if you can say.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, you give someone that's never had money before a bunch of money, they're going to do some crazy shit with it most of the time. I mean, especially me, because my ego was so high at that time as well, where I was like, fuck everyone, I can do whatever I want. I want them to see that they didn't believe in me, so then I'm going to buy so much stuff. And then I spent a lot of money. I bought a lot of designer. I spent like probably like 10 to 20K on designer. And then I spent like, I traveled to Bali for a little bit, spent like 30 to 40K over there. Basically in those 6 months, I'd spent like a lot of money. And then after that,
a lot of money. Let's leave it at that.
No, but just a lot.
Fucking
yeah. And then after that, I got hit with you have to pay tax. And I was like, fuck, what is tax? Like, I don't even know what this is. I dropped out of high school.
And they didn't teach that shit in high school.
No, they don't. I mean, that wouldn't have helped you at all.
They don't teach how to make money in high school. So
no,
there's no way they're teaching tax.
No, fuck no.
But so yeah, that was the first product, and after that, I traveled to Bali.
So once you kind of got that that first success, then what changed in your mindset and approach? Were you still like knuckling out, like going about it on your own, kind of full fucking like solo mode, or did you then start to reach out to people, try and find people to work with in the same niche, or?
So I didn't want to work. I didn't want to work with anyone. I didn't want to learn from anyone or anything like that, because I was like, I just did this. I don't need help. And that was like probably one of the biggest killers for one of the reasons that store like started to drop off after Christmas, was because of that reason. I was kind of like more arrogant, or like my ego was just too high. I was like, I did this myself. I can do anything myself now, which I mean, it was just a massive learning experience to me, because the universe just hit me in the back, and they're like, nah, you're gonna have to learn for some other people.
Change that tune, boy.
Yeah, but I went to Bali with the intention of networking. Yeah. That was one thing that I did do, and that's where I found Lux Week, the other company that I don't really talk about. I met some people over there, and that's how I got into Lux Week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I also brought on that guy that made 20K in a day. Remember at the start of this podcast, I said there was a guy that he was 16. Yeah, I ended up working with him on the store, and we just worked so well together. It did really well. And then it took me a while to kind of like invest in mentors and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I've got Dylan Scott coming on next week.
Oh yeah.
So I know you guys have done a little bit of work together.
Yeah, Dill's actually one of my boys. We had a store together that did really well.
Wow. Yeah, and I remember watching one of your YouTube videos, how you guys took that from, I won't give numbers, but you guys made a YouTube video where you took it to a certain number over about 2 weeks. Do you want to tell us a bit about that story?
Yeah, we can talk numbers. So basically we're selling a product and we did 133K in a week. We're doing $24,000 days back to back. I literally have the video of like my screen recording of all the notifications. I was like, now, just people buying. Shout out to Dill, because Dill actually found that product. He's an absolute weapon when it comes to just
great
like finding random products. But yeah, so that's what we ended up doing 133K, and then we did in the first week. And then after that, it was like 178,000, and then we profited 90,000 out of that. But yeah,
wow,
that was last year, like the start of last year. So this was only like probably like 7 months after my first store.
Yeah,
and then I also had a store in between that where I did like 30K, and then I had another store with one of my other really good friends, and we did like 600K last year in like 8 months, and
yeah. No, it's brilliant. And do you find you like having to open up lots of different stores to see what sticks, or do you feel like you got a better idea of what to choose now?
No, 100%. I mean, it's all about testing. Like in this game, you can't guess. I mean, you have to have statistics to back up your evidence, like what you're trying to sell. I mean, I launch stores to this day and they don't work. It's not like I have some, like, I mean, there is a process where you can understand if it's going to work or not. But with, it's just, I mean, until you receive data, you don't know if it's going to work, because I could say, okay, well, let's sell ring lights and it doesn't work. But I mean, I wouldn't have known that until I tested it. Or I could be like, or you could be like, okay, let's, I don't know, sell something else. And I'm like, no, that won't work. And then it does work.
It could be the best product of that.
Exactly. It just comes to, there's so many different variables that come into like
it's timing as well.
Timing as well. Like there's just a lot of, and like human psychology, like consumer psychology. I mean, there's so many different variables that go into it. But I definitely do have a better perspective on what's working and everything like that now, and like how to take those stores to like 6 and 7 figures.
the world has just changed a lot in the last 18 months, basically with lockdowns, COVID, and all that kind of stuff. I don't have to tell you the story, but how has that changed your processes and thought process? You know, finding products.
More money. People are at home. They're spending more time on their phones.
They've got money they didn't have to work for.
Exactly. If they're on, like, if they're getting money from the government, I mean, they're going to look to spend that money immediately. So if you put your product in front of the right audience, it's going to sell. E-commerce has like boosted in the like, I don't know the numbers, the specific numbers, but I'm pretty sure, like, and don't quote me on this, it was like 3x since last year.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as coronavirus happened, that's when all my stores, like my sales were just boosting. Like, people don't know what to do with their money. So yeah.
When Australia first went into lockdown, that's when anarchy kind of hit the roof. You know, things were just absolutely nuts. For like that first solid 3 months that we went into lockdown, it was just mayhem in the best possible way, you know, especially with the name anarchy. Like, this has been something that, you know, I've been running anarchy since late 2015, but never before have we had this much organic traffic. You look at the news, everyone's fucking spitting anarchy, you know, all over the states. Anarchy. And then that was all, you know, funneling back to us. I don't have to pay a fucking cent for it.
It's a good little SEO.
Yeah, it was, man.
Hell yeah.
It was amazing. So, like, yeah, I've online business, and I've been having this conversation with lots of people recently as well, because, you know, I have a couple of friends that are in situations where they haven't been able to work, and they've just been sitting there waiting for their opportunity to work. I'm like, it's fucking 2021. Open up your laptop, open up YouTube, how to make money, and you'll be given tens of thousands of options.
Like billions
of options of how to make money.
Going off of that, I'm going to ask, like, somebody who's listening to this right now who's maybe didn't know what dropshipping was before this, what advice would you give somebody like that, taking into account that, you know, you said that it is about testing? I feel like quite a few people who might be interested in the idea of dropshipping after listening to this probably don't have a lot of capital either to put into it. So, like, what's your advice for somebody in that situation?
Yeah, so it's basically like, you look at any other business model, right? It all takes capital to start up, but this one really, really doesn't. I mean, if you, like, I started mine with like $500. Yeah, it's a lot different now. Like, it might cost like $1,000 to $2,000 to really get the ball rolling. But, like, I mean, kind of go into it with the mindset of this, like, not trying to not what am I trying to say? Oh my God. But, like, not being like, oh, I'm going to try this 2 times. Like I was saying earlier, like, I'm not going to try this. Okay, I'll try this 2 times, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to give up. That's just like the worst mentality you can go into anything.
It's a marathon.
And it's what a lot of people do, because they get this shiny object syndrome, and they're like, oh my God, like, this guy did it in this amount of time. Like, it's just like, just run your own race. And there's a lot of people that are trying to do this right now. It doesn't mean you can't do it. I mean, it just gives you evidence that it's working.
Exactly.
Do you have any advice for anybody, you know, if this is something that your courses cover, then, you know, feel free not to say anything, but, like, product selection, where does somebody start looking?
Yeah, okay, that's a really good question. And obviously I do cover that in the program into more depth, but long story short, I mean, if you're getting hit by Facebook ads of a product, what is that telling you? It's telling you that they're spending money on their product to try to, like, it's telling you that the product is working. I mean, go onto AliExpress and check if the product is on there. I guarantee you that product is not patent, and it's just a drop shipping product that they've made, like, branded really, really well. There's a lot of big brands out there that drop ship. At the end of the day, drop shipping is just a business model. It can't die. It's literally a business model. And I mean, yeah, if you're getting hit by their ads, it's telling you that that product is working. So go and sell that product.
Yeah. Cool.
That's what I'd say.
Perfect. Well, we've got to reset the cameras again.
Jeez, that goes quick, man.
Bro, it really does.
So fast, man. So we're just going to take another really quick break, and then we'll be back to wrap things up and drop some more bombs on you lovely people.
Hell yeah.
I need to pee again, so this is good.
I know.
Yes, sir. Oh yeah, facts. I used to watch that all the time. That's some money song.
Where's
right
the
there.
Coke?
Welcome back to Before the Money TV. We have just had another quick break because our minds were just fucking exploding, if I'm going to be honest with you here. Possibilities are absolutely endless in 2021, and the quicker you guys realize that, the better you are, because we love you all and we want you all to exceed, because We know you are capable of it. So let's jump straight back in. Daecian, when we're sitting down here and Before the Money TV in 12 months' time, what would you have wanted to achieve? Or if this is an easier question, what does your life look like in as much detail as you can conjure?
Like 12 months for now. I think that like the number that I've always had is like 50 mil.
Yep.
Like that's just what
nice round number.
I'm going to get. And I don't want it. I already have it.
Fucking oath.
So I mean, I don't know.
Well, how does that 50 mil shape your life? Let's visualize it a little bit. Because money can do anything. You can be 50 mil and live in a fucking basement, or you can have 50 mil and own an island. Like, what does your life look like?
No, I'm huge on like my why kind of like has always been family, health, and freedom. As long as I can take care of those 3 things, like I'm Gucci. Yeah. I mean, like 50 mil, that's enough to take care of my like my kids. Maybe like Conor McGregor. But like seriously, yeah, just like 50 mil. Like I just want to build companies that I can just exit. I'm always like in it for the exit. That's what I'm building right now. It's just like you can sell e-com stores for exit as well. Like big amounts of money too. Not like I'm not talking like a few $100,000. I'm talking like millions. And
because you can sell e-com stores based on projections as well, not just past results.
Yeah, but like the thing is with that, like you can't really just have like a drop shipping store and be like, oh yeah, this is what I want you to buy for 3 mil. You know what I mean? Like you have to have everything set up. Majority of the time, people want to look for inventory. They want to look for like, do you have, I don't know, like the whole structure set up? What do you like? And not just have a 3-month-old drop shipping store. It's not very sexy for an investor to look at and actually like.
Because then they're just investing in problems in a lot of times.
Exactly.
Well.
I mean, you got to have a really structured like company set up for you to exit that thing. But that's just what my goal is at the moment, creating big brands that I can exit. I mean, in a year, like I'm not emotionally attached to any product that I sell. So if someone gives me the right number, I'm out.
Yeah.
But yeah, 50 mil in like 10 years, like that's just what I would like, I'm going to have. And there's nothing that's going to stop me. But in 12 months time, I don't know. I don't really have a number. Just as long as I can exit a few businesses, like that's just what I want to do. I just want to build as many businesses as I can. Like I have so much fun with it. I'm just like I'm in love with the money, and money loves me.
100%.
And like there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what I want to preach in this video. If there's one thing you can take away from it, there's nothing wrong with being obsessed with money. In my opinion, that's my personal opinion. Because
I agree, man. 100%.
People always try and attach that stigma to it, and that's obviously like a jealous point of view.
Yeah.
So I was gonna pull this question out later, but I'm gonna bring it now because it makes sense. What would you say to all those people out there that tell you that money can't buy you freedom?
The people that say that money can't buy you happiness usually don't have either of those two things.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Those people that are saying money doesn't buy freedom or money doesn't buy happiness, they don't have any of those.
Yeah.
So that's my answer.
How would they know? Exactly. Yeah. Because the people, although like you can't have just money, and everybody knows that's common sense. You can't have just money, but with money, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. And if you're a half sane person and you put it towards things you're passionate about, you spend it on loved ones, like, you know, that is what gives you the freedom and the fulfillment. It's not necessarily having the money, because at the end of the day, you know, what is money? It's this made up construct. You know, it's this thing that we've printed and given this value to. But it allows us to live the life of our wildest dreams. And if there's anything more fulfilling than that, I want to fucking know what it is, you know?
100%. Like, for example, my mum recently had her birthday and I got her like an Airbnb, just like a really nice Airbnb, like out in the middle of nowhere, just like peaceful. And I mean, seeing her reaction to me getting her that made me so happy. And if I didn't have money, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I wouldn't be able to feel that feeling. It's not like the actual object. It's what you can do with that object, in my opinion. This is,
And it's also the lack of having to choose between one or the other. You know, when you have sufficient capital, it's like, I don't have to select between that and that because I want them both equally. I'm going to have them fucking both, you know, have your cake and eat it too. It's a very small-minded mindset when, you know, you think you have to select in this world, because we're no longer living in a world of hardship. You know, yes, there is hardship around, but for those that are able and in a position and driven to change their life, shit can change really fucking quickly. As you guys have all just heard, there's living proof sitting right next to me right now. Things can change really, really quickly, but you have to fucking devote your life to it, and you can't be a fucking pussy about it. That's just plain, simple English. if you want to achieve something great in this world, you have to pull your fucking socks up, put in the time, and delete all the excuses, because every single one of those things will, chop you off at the knees and you've got no hope. So please, because I love you guys, like I've said, dedicate yourself to a dream and don't stop until you achieve that goal, because all the blood, sweat, and tears will be well and truly worth it, when you're living the life of your dreams at any age. I don't care if you're fucking 12, you're 8, you're 60. You have the ability to change your life within this year.
I kind of want to reiterate on the work that it does take too, because I feel like there's I don't know their names, but you get YouTube ads of people that are selling you courses on drop shipping and stuff, and I feel like a lot of people do kind of sell it to you as this like quick fix. But after getting to know you and speaking with you about it, it's become so apparent that everything that we do, it's a marathon and it's not a sprint, like by any means. Because I feel like there's a lot of people that are kind of like around me and the things that are happening around me, and then they kind of see that and they're like, well, like they get that I can do it too. But I feel like a lot of people don't understand that even something like this or music or a clothing brand, everything that you do, you got to put those hard yards in as you have.
100%. It takes a long time to be an overnight success.
Bro, I love that so much, man.
I like that. That's fucking
awesome.
Bars right there, bro.
So what do you think kind of has been your most proud moment this year? You touched on being able to get the Airbnb for your mom. I'm sure you have, times like that.
I don't know. Kind of moving out was like one of the biggest things. I think like just moving out of my house, my mum's place, getting my own apartment, kind of just being on my own. I love it. I love being alone. That's just, I don't know. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. Like I can't really pinpoint a moment right now off the top of my head, but
you're just proud at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just chilling, and I love it.
100%.
I love it. And I mean, the motivation never stops. I'm still watching those YouTube videos of Jake Paul and FaZe Clan and going, I need to be there. I'm right here, right now. Yeah, this works. Just like my first Shopify sale worked. And it's just like, I'm still going to keep going though. And I'm not going to stop until I get there. 100%.
Well, I can see a fucking YouTube clan coming together right here.
Hey, facts.
Bro.
If you go to League of Legends or...
yeah, dude.
So
I'll get back into League for that shit. Holy shit.
Yeah,
100%.
I kind of said to myself when I stopped playing League that the only time that I would take it up again is to stream it. To make it like a productive habit, because holy crap, it can
I'm huge on YouTube, man. Like watching other, like I'm so big on FaZe Clan, Nelk Boys. Like I watch that all the time, just because I know how realistic that is to do now from everything else that I've done. But like even like Rice Gum and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but like these guys are just living a really good life, and I think it's good that I'm not complacent. Is that a word? Complacent. Yeah. I'm not complacent right now. I'm like, nah, I need to keep going.
Yeah.
But it's just like coronavirus, everything's happening. I'm just creating the foundation, so then when all this stuff blows over, I can just go bang.
Yeah, exactly nice. Right. So we were thinking about as well, setting it up, this podcast on like a live Twitch stream.
That would actually be really cool. I love Twitch. Twitch is such a good platform. I mean, if you think about it, Twitch is the new radio. 100%. You're tuning in live, but you're watching people. I mean, I watched Rice Gum stream the other day, and all he did was sleep in a bed with a really good looking girl. And I mean, he got like 60,000 or 70,000 viewers just watching him live. Like it is
watching him sleep.
What? It is the new radio, and like radio's dead, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't listen to the radio ever. I got an aux cord. I'm not going to listen to the radio. I want to listen to what I want to listen to, and that's the power. Like you don't have really the ability to tune into a station that you really want to listen to, but whereas you can tune into so many different genres online, you have the power to be like you are in power of what you decide to watch.
Whatever you want, whenever
you can literally do whatever you want on Twitch. Like people like invest a couple of $100 into a good mic, and then they do ASMR videos of them fucking just like tapping shit or eating shit, and they're getting like hundreds and thousands of people watching them at one time, donating money and shit.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy what you can do on that.
100%.
Yeah.
No, that's I think you should definitely do that.
Yeah, it's the future, and like the same reason why we've kind of transitioned into podcasts. People want content on demand, and they want content constantly. Like I know personally, if I'm not listening to a podcast or listening to an audiobook or working, like I must be asleep or dead. Seriously, like it's content absorption constantly for me. And I know there's lots of people out there in the world, so we need to provide the content for them to absorb. Really,
I think it's our generation. Like I'm so kind of like bad with that. Like I'll fall asleep watching a YouTube video. It's just what I do. It's like my meditation. But I think at the same time, it's not obviously that healthy to do going to bed on a stimulated brain. I mean, you wake up, like I wake up with like a pretty bad headache sometimes, and I just think that, I don't know, it's just our generation. We're always looking for the next quick high, and watching things is such a quick high. I mean, yeah.
So there's, you know how we're making that transition from, you know, I don't know what the word for it is, but basically we're going from like digital gaming to virtual reality, which is fully immersive. So there we have, I'm not going to get too specific because I'll probably butcher it, but we have a certain amount of parameters that are stimulated from us playing, you know, traditional video games. But we don't necessarily trigger all the stimulus that we would say in the real world, you know, walking around, feeling sunshine and all that kind of stuff. The reason why VR has taken such a massive hold is because it literally triggers every single, you know, natural point of stimulation in our brains and in our physical bodies that we trigger in the real world. And when you're stepping into a hyper realistic world where there is no limits, you don't even need gravity if you don't want it. There is no limits, and we're still triggering our, you know, 40 million year old brains the exact same way. No wonder we get bored of like the mundane shit, because we have unlimited stimulus that we don't even need to imagine, because everything that we could possibly imagine is being created and we can access it. What the fuck is going to happen in, say, like 10 years time if this is the position we're in at the moment? What does the world look like?
Some Ready Player One shit.
Legit,
you know?
man.
Like,
that stuff is so much realer than we think.
People will live their lives.
Probably in VR right now, we just haven't taken our headset off.
Yeah.
Hey.
That wigs me out a lot, actually. That makes me feel weird.
But what if you like wake up
outside
somewhere
the
like
mask.
properly fucked up though? Like,
Yeah.
I was watching the other day. There's that Netflix series, Love, Death and Robots.
I haven't seen it.
Pretty cool. And so like it's a series, but every episode is a new story made by a new animation studio. There's one in particular where this dude like gets lost very, very, very deep in space, and then he has this lady that he knows comes to him like, "You're really lost in space. Like, chill out. It's all good." You know, they get it on. It's all happy.
Mad.
And then he realizes that even she's lying to him, and he's like way deeper in space than he ever thought he was, and he's being fed a simulation by this like fucking like spider looking thing, which is like trying to protect him. He's like, "I want to see what you actually look like," and she's like, "You're not fucking ready." And he's like, "No, I want to see." And it's like this fucking apocalyptic, like he's stuck in this ball in space, apocalyptic as fucking. This spider thing's like feeding him the simulation to just look after his soul, because he's just
Bro, the
lost in
creator of
fucking
that
space.
show must have a really creative brain.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That whole series is like on point.
You know the one I'm talking about?
man,
Dude,
I've
how
watched it a couple of
fucking
times.
crazy is that episode?
Yeah.
Love, Death and Robots,
Spooky.
100%.
Kind of reminds me of is it Inception? No,
Insidious?
Interstellar.
Yeah.
Where, like, he goes like in space and then just goes into the fifth dimension. That shit is crazy.
I love all that
That's
kind of
pretty
stuff,
well
man.
lit. Like he gets
Yeah.
lost
It's a bit-
in the same
bit
shit,
Matrixy as well.
and then
Yeah.
this thing grabs him, and it's like, "I'm looking after you," and it is, but it's like creepy
Still
as
looks
fuck.
freaky, hey.
Yeah.
You know, if aliens landed on... All right, so we want to kind of wrap it up shortly, but let's throw a little bit
We're going to
curveball in
aliens.
there.
We're in
So,
the vortex.
aliens land on Earth. What's your initial reaction? We'll go around the room.
I feel like I wouldn't really care.
No?
It would be sick. Like I'll just like, I mean, I know they're not here to hurt us. That's for sure, because they could have done that already.
Us, yeah.
I mean, if they wanted to, they would have already done it. If I actually saw, if like an alien just walked in, I would be pretty like, what the fuck?
Jump on the potty, pull up a mic.
Yeah, but I would want to ask them a lot of questions.
100%.
100%. If it, yeah, I would have a lot of questions. I'm like, should I be dropshipping?
Will I make my 50 mil?
Yeah, give me a business model.
Yeah.
What's an business?
What are you guys selling in space?
UFOs.
Legit. So, okay. Well,
What would you say?
Well, yeah. What do you
I
think?
would probably. I want to be the dude that's like, I want to be like front and center. Like, come on, put me on the ship. Yeah, that's me. I want to be
Let's
on
see
there.
what
Like,
you got.
yeah, like I just want to go up there because, and this is, you know, my own delusion speaking, but I feel like I can communicate pretty well through energy, and like I've always been a very a good communicator in that sense. But I don't know. I would like to be the people that go in there and fucking talk to them and, you know, see what they're about and see, because I'm very patient as well. So, and I try not to give off, like I never get fucking angry. So I don't know. This is me just assuming that they, you know, only speak fucking our vibrations. Maybe they speak perfect English and they're the ones that gave us like all our languages, and who fucking knows? This is just my little pea brain speaking here. You know,
100%.
I want to be the one on there. Yeah, I want to go on and just be like, fucking, how's your day, guys, going? Welcome to Earth. Crack one open with us.
What'd you do, Reese?
Personally, I think that my idea of the situation is a little bit more grim.
Mm-hmm.
I think that aliens don't come to us unless they're wiping us out.
Possibly.
I don't think they have a reason. I don't think we have anything to offer them apart from space. Literal, like, you know, if we have something that they want, then they come here and they take it. Maybe they just like take it and we leave them alone and it's all good. But I don't think that humans have that in their nature to be like, you're taking something from us. We're not going to fight back.
We'd be missiles straight away.
This thing that fucking wigs me out about it is like, there's no warning.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could arrive here right fucking now.
Mm-hmm.
To get here, they've got enough technology that they're getting here without warning. So it's just going to happen. Personally, I don't think that they come here for anything other than to take over. Because what do we have to offer them, really?
Yeah. Gold.
Yeah. Well, there's lots of theories that say kind of they create, well, the aliens, inverted commas, set humans up on Earth to mine gold and precious, you know, minerals.
That's why I
and
said
stuff like
gold.
that.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely want to like touch them just to feel what their skin. That would be pretty weird. I know.
I reckon they'd be cold.
Yeah.
Like
cold.
weird,
Yeah.
I reckon they'd be cold-blooded for sure.
See what kind of like how fast their UFO is as well.
Yeah.
How fast does this go 0 to 100?
Legit. So another thing that I learned the other day. So basically they've I don't know if how many people have heard this, but when COVID was first like ravaging the world in 2020, both the Pentagon and the Soviets released statements saying that they had found vehicles from other planets. And that kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. But another thing, there's been quite a few physicists and scientists that have spoken out, that have spent time working in Area 51 and things like
Bob
that.
Lazar.
Hey. And one of the key pieces of information that kind of stuck with me is that they're from analyzing these vehicles, they've found that whoever it is that's making them out there has harnessed the ability to make minerals on an atomic level, meaning like we can currently make products out of minerals that we found on Earth, steel, stone, fucking, you can get as simple as you want. The aliens, that sounds so funny to say, but whoever it is has managed to create minerals from, I'm not even smart enough to explain this well, but there's an infinite amount of products and materials that they can create, because they can analyze and create things from a cellular level. They could make up materials out of thin air, and you know, there's no reason why, you know, they could make up fucking base amperinium, and it is a metal that moves at like infinite speeds faster than the sound of light. Like there is no limit when you're making things at a cellular atomic level.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Legit.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That shit's crazy.
It is a little bit crazy.
That's how it happens too. You see in like a lot of space movies, they're not like actually propelling themselves at the speed of light. They're like using a sail.
Yeah.
And they just ride what's already happening.
Holy hell.
A solar sail.
It's
solar
called
sail.
The sun pushes.
Have you seen the movie The Arrival?
Some movie.
I have, and we've got like 30 seconds left on it. So
wrap it up at
fastest
aliens.
like 30 minutes
Wait,
of my
that
life.
went
Yeah, Jesus.
Quick,
What
say
the
goodbye.
fuck? So, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. This was episode, I'm not going to say it in case I get it wrong, episode number beep of Before the Money. We're sitting here with Daecian, a fucking living legend. This has been lots and lots of fun, you know. Thank you so much for coming
No worries,
on, man.
I appreciate you
Drop
guys
some
having me on.
solid gems on us here
Hell
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Something to do.
How can our audience find you? Drop your handles.
Yeah, just IG. Just follow like.
What's your IG handle?
Daecian, Daecian. That's
Awesome. And I'll put that in the show notes below for everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you so much for pulling out, guys. The massive shout out to Electric Sugar for giving us this space, providing you guys with the beautiful auditory experience. Make sure you head to anarchylabel.com. We're going to have a new collection dropping soon, but we still have lots of hoodies, lots of amazing things up on the website for you to check out now. So anarchylabel.com. Come check it out. Go and listen to Reese's music. Check him out on Spotify or YouTube, v.blvq. We also have a tour coming up. We're going to be playing some shows. I'm not going to give you any more information on that, but I'm sure for anyone that follows our close community on social media, you've seen us in the studio practicing and stuff like that. So that's going to be leaking soon. Did you want to say something? Is it going off?
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys. God bless. Enjoy.
Peace.
Thank you, everybody.
Mad Tings!
You.
Well done.